Now, for years, I've tried to find the perfect MMO for me. I've tried them all: World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls Online, Anarchy Online, World of Warcraft Classic, and plenty more, and none of those games have ever kept my attention. Whether that be because of boring gameplay, toxic communities, or just a boring story, none have ever caught my full attention. But there is one game, one MMO that has hooked me from the very start. One game I'm very proud to call my latest addiction. Let me take a sip of coffee real quick. Now, in order to put in perspective how addicted I am to this game, let me give you my hours. I have over 200 hours playing Guild Wars 2. To some, that may not seem to be too bad until you scroll down and see that my first time opening this was on the 10th of May, and as of recording this, it is the 10th of June. There are around 730 hours in 1 month. I've spent 12 of them playing this one single game. I've spent over a quarter of my month playing this game. That's how addicted I am. Also, I will not be explaining the whole story and plot, just reasons why I like the game. When you first open the game, you are greeted with this screen. This is where your created characters will be listed. Without any DLCs, there are only 2 slots available. But as I've bought a few of the DLCs, I have 5, but more can be bought in the in-game shop, which we will get to later. Right now, let's just create a new character. There are 5 races to choose from. We have the Char, humans, Norns, Asura, and Sylvari. The Char are a warlike race. The humans are a human race. The Norns are a Viking, Nordic mountain men type of race. The Asura are an extremely intelligent race who use their minds to make up for their lack of physical strength. And the Sylvari are a tree people type race. I don't know much about them because I don't mess with them all that much. But this is also one of the reasons why I love this game. There are so many options and choices that cater to almost any type of person. All the races have their own deep lore and personalities, and I just love that. After choosing our race and gender, we are greeted with the class selection screen. And Jesus, there are a lot of options for us to choose from. Each one has its own unique gameplay and skills, from a necromancer who controls the undead, to a huntsman who tames wild beasts. And the rows are split up into what armor type they use. The top row uses heavy armor, middle row uses medium armor, and bottom uses light armor. There are 9 classes: Guardian, Warrior, Revenant, Engineer, Thief, Ranger, Mesmer, Necromancer, and Elementalist. And again, another reason why I love this game. Options. When I play a game, I want to experiment. I want to feel the need to try out different classes because at least one of them will appeal to me. With so many other MMOs, I don't ever get that feeling. Even in other genres, I never feel like I have options, or it never feels like there's any depth or versatility to the classes. But not here. Every class has its own playstyle, and every class has a subclass of other playstyles in the forms of specializations, which I may get into later. Now, after choosing your class, we get on to customizing our character. And it's pretty good. You may change your character's height, make him a little short or very tall. You can adjust his physique by making him skinny or really buff or chubby or meet in the middle. It's fairly straightforward, and I don't feel as if I have to explain much more. And for the last part of our customization, we have your character's background. For me, I can choose my pet, but each class has their own specific options. I know the warrior can choose a specific armor piece, and elementalist can choose which element they will represent. So I end up choosing a wolf because wolves are on top. Then I get the option of charm, dignity, and ferocity. For the most part, this is meaningless. It may change some lines of dialogue, but the story will remain the same. But I think I could be wrong. Next is choose what important quality you have. I think this is purely for lore and backstory and will not change the main story as a whole. Now, the next choices will affect a portion of your character's story. The options will be unique to each race, but for the Norn, I can choose from Blacked Out, Got Into a Fight, and Lost an Heirloom. Each one has their own unique portion of your personal story, so do what looks most appealing to you. Now the next portion I am going to skip because it also has no effect on gameplay or the story, but again, options and backstory is very nice to see. And now we get to the last page where it gives us an overview of our backstory based off of what we chose, and here we get to name our character. So I'm going to go with Red the Ranger. No, that's taken. How about Red the Hunter? No, that's also taken. You know what? Red the Wolfman. Hell yeah, great name. And after naming our character, we are greeted to a cutscene that gives us some backstory on our race and our character in particular, along with some characters we will meet and fight with along the way. I personally love this cutscene because it gives us the little details without spilling all the beans, which I appreciate. Like I said at the start, I am not going to dissect every detail of this game. I just love the character creation and the amount of options it gives you. It's really well done and really well designed and gives you the necessary information as to what the class does and what is going on. Now, on to the community. So here I'm just going to put my discussion post here because mostly I'm just lazy, and also I think I explained myself perfectly on how good and kind and wholesome this community is. So here we go. Other than a few bad apples, this game has one of the funniest / wholesome communities ever. I'm 18, fresh out of high school, and this game came out when I was 6 years old, and I've always been told to stay away from MMOs because they are seen to be catered towards the older crowd, which was absolutely apparent when I tried to play WoW. Nobody tried to help me, people were rude and telling me to just watch YouTube tutorials, and I never felt a part of the community. And I never thought I would find an MMO with fun gameplay and a good story and a good community. But I found this game. I thought I'd give it a shot, and oh my god. I got in, and at first I was slightly overwhelmed, but I just took the time to read everything and ask questions, and everyone was super helpful. I was able to figure out the majority of the menus within a few hours of playing. People offered to let me party up with them and help me explore, which I declined, as I like to experience games solo for the first go around. But it was still very generous of the players to offer such assistance that was all but absent from World of Warcraft and Elder Scrolls Online. Of course, I came across the occasional grumpy old man arguing with some 20-year-olds about something dumb, but usually either the aggressor is just laughed at or they just agree to disagree. I never sense any venom in the arguments, and I never feel like there's a fight between types of players. Most everyone just kinda gets along. The community is also really funny at times. During world bosses, people are talking and joking around and having a great time. I adore this game. I couldn't have wrote this better if I tried, and believe me, I tried. This post came from the heart and was made to show my appreciation towards the community and the game. Next is the gem shop. Now you cannot buy super advanced powerful weaponry. For the most part, this is merely cosmetic. And a good chunk of the cosmetics look pretty solid. Some are badass, some are sort of silly, but not too bad. Some are the super classic shiny cosmetics that a lot of games add, but there is one problem: the pricing of one single thing. Living World Season 2. This is way too expensive. It is around $15 to get the basic world building and character development. Yes, the world seasons have their own stories and are very well written and add a few days of story content, but $15 for no new areas is a bit expensive. Next is the expansions, and the only expansion I have played is Heart of Thorns, and it was extremely good, and I've heard great things about the other DLCs. I want to tell you the main game story is great, but it is the weakest in every way compared to everything else, including Living World Seasons. I don't quite have much to say about the DLCs, but you can buy 2 of them in a bundle for around $30. I say it's worth it. They add way more content and story to the game. Alright, next is the gameplay. This game is so fun in general. It's been so long since I've been this into a game. All quest has some type of lore, Each weapon has its own attacks and every class has a different skill for every weapon. Once you get to level 80, you may think to yourself, I'm getting kind of bored of this gameplay. Then bam, you figure out elite specializations, which add a whole new playstyle and skill set to your already expansive list of skills. One of my favorite memories in this game, which happened a couple days ago, was my first time just stumbling upon a world boss named the Shadow Behemoth. I've never seen so many players in one area in a video game before. I remember I was walking along through a swamp, then all of a sudden portals appeared, and this big shadow monster just comes out of the ground, and like 30 players just start rushing in, shooting fireballs, summoning creatures, and healing as needed. I remember there being so much chaos. Good times, man. And that's the thing, you don't feel the need to be extremely skilled to join in on world bosses. In fact, you don't need to. Bosses just appear in the open world at specific times and at specific locations. There is no level requirements for world bosses, there's only recommendations. And don't get me started on the quests. There are so many quests in this game and every single one has at least a tiny bit of lore. You won't be bored playing this game. There is always something interesting to do. There's always an event going on and there's always more to be seen. This is not one of those games where the PvP is the whole focus. No, the creators understand that in order to retain a player base, you have to show love to all of the players. These creators care, they do, and it shows. This game came out in 2012, and for around 10 plus years, this game has been given constant updates and tweaks and content, and that in itself proves how much they truly care for this game and its community. And that's why Guild Wars 2 is my latest obsession.